Okay. Sorry about stopping at mid video last time. I had somebody come into my room and I had to pause. And then by the time we finished, I finished helping them with what they needed. I had to leave, so I just stopped there and I'm picking back up today. So I think we left off. We had the landscape for the tree collection selected, and we had disconnected the join geometry and just connected this bottom output. So we're only going to get the tree collection. We're not going to get the landscape duplicated. Now, let's see if, all right. So I've already moved that up, it looks like. So next, we need to make a vertex group. So we're going to the properties panel, the data tab, the little green triangle. We're going to hit the plus sign, and we'll just name this tree collection. And once we have named that, we'll go to the modifier tab. We can assume that it brought in the tree collection with it, so we don't have to add that to our scene. We're going to give it the name of our vertex group, so tree collection. And we'll double check that this is working by going to the object mode here, switch that to weight paint, and I'm going to zoom in a bit. And let's put a few trees along the side of the train track, kind of in this area. So it is painting, and we do need to adjust a few things. Let's start by changing all the scale values to 0, so they're all standing straight. And then we can make some choices like rotate Z max can be 360, and they will randomly be turned in all possible angles. We can take the Y max rotation and put 0.1, and for the X also, so the trees can be leaning slightly. And I'm going to make these a bit smaller. And then let's increase the density a little bit. And let's just start painting and see if we can get some more trees to appear in our scene. So just like with the pine trees, you can decide how many you want to put. And I don't like the density. Let's increase this quite a bit. There we go. So we have quite a few more trees now. So I'm not going to paint all of mine because you don't really want to watch me paint, but you just continue painting and adding as many trees as you want. And when you finish adding all the trees you want, I am going to talk about bringing in the rocks and just kind of help you with that if you don't remember exactly how to change the collection or if you have issues. So let's say that I have painted all the trees I want. I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to select, well, for you, you will need to bring in your rock collection. I don't have a rock collection, so I am going to, let's not do that. Let me undo that real fast. I'm just going to add, I'm going to use a monkey as a rock because why not? So I have my monkey floating over to the side, and we're going to pretend like that's a rock, and I'm just going to make some different monkeys, different sizes, and I'll just scale one. Let's see here. And I'll just have two. So I have my collection of rock monkeys. So I'm going to name this rock monkeys. Okay. So you have brought in your rock collection. I have made my rock collection, and we're just going to set this up and make sure it works okay. So we're going to select our last landscape for the rocks. We're going to go to collection to scatter and change that to rocks, or in that case, rock monkeys. And just like before, we're going to add a new vertex group. And I'm just going to call this rocks. And we'll go back to the modifier tab. We'll name our vertex group the same thing, capital letters and all. And once we have that, we want to make sure that this landscape is at the same place as our other landscape. So my 3D cursor is still there. So Shift S selection of cursor. We'll move that up. We're going to switch our asset browser back to geometry nodes. And just like last time, we're going to take this bottom input and plug it in to the geometry, and we can delete this geometry node. And then we can go into white paint, and then we can paint. Oh, I've got a big rock monkey. So obviously we'll need to change the scale quite a bit. There we go, little bitty monkey rocks. And let's see here. Let's change the density quite a bit more. I want a bunch of rocks kind of scattering the ground. And since it's okay for these to be rotated in any direction, we can actually change the Z rotation to 360, the Y rotation to 360, and the X rotation to 360. And let's see if there's anything else. We can play with scale more. So if you want some bigger rocks in relation to the others, you can change the max scale to a larger number. And I'm going to adjust this a bit. And it's okay that they're down in the ground because unlike the trees, the origin point's in the center, and part of the rock is probably going to be buried in underground anyway. Okay. Sorry, I had to pause. I had someone at my door. So at this point, let's switch back to object mode. Well, obviously you can finish painting your rocks and add all the trees and rocks that you want to your scene. I'm going to hit Alt-H and bring back, oh, never mind, the slash key is what I used. Bring back everything, hit play, make sure that the train is still working correctly, make sure you're happy with your rocks. And the last thing, I think, unless I'm missing something we need to do, is add a material to the train track, because we just did that and I forgot to add that in the video. So I have the train track selected, and I'll just pause this and we will go to the shading editor. There we go. We're going to give it a new material, and we can probably, let's try this a different way. If I go to the asset browser, we should have our materials here. So you can pick whichever material you want. So I might do this stained wood, drag that onto the track. Now I'm getting an error because when I was setting things up, I didn't drag the correct, or I didn't get the textures I needed in the correct folder when I was trying to prepare all this. So I've got a pink color, and I'm going to have that happen with any of mine. Well, except maybe the bark. Let's try that. There we go. That'll work. So all yours should work fine. Mine, I'm just having a little glitch. Now, one thing you will need to do if you have like a wood texture or something with the train track selected, just hit Tab to go into edit mode, then A, U to unwrap, and Smart UV project and unwrap. And yes, I know you can't see it when you go into edit mode. It goes back to the single piece and not to the piece the tracks going around. But when you hit Tab, it should come back and it should hopefully look correctly unwrapped, and the texture should look fine. If you have trouble with that in class, just let me know and I will help you. Okay, so unless I'm forgetting something, that's everything we need to set up our scene. And go ahead and just submit this file. And then in the next lesson, I'll deal with some camera movement and rendering things, and we'll do that as a separate grade.